Breaking into IT right now doesn't seem that easy. I mean, the truth is, you're competing against so many people, the odds seem stacked against you, and everyone's got the same cert. So, what can you really do? Well, here's the truth. You've got to be a little bit unconventional, persistent, of course, and today I'm actually going to share my 5 top tips for you to break into IT. Starting with use recruiters who can be your force multiplier. Stop relying on job boards. I know so many people out there complain about how useless Indeed is, or Dice, LinkedIn, just Career Builder, just you name the job board. I mean, you hear pros, you hear cons, but mostly people complaining that they just continue to get all these emails that really don't mean anything. To me, the truth is that it's really extra intel that you can use. So you'll read blogs about people applying for 1,000 different jobs, but really the recruiters may seem like they're an annoyance, but really it's just an extra person that can be on your team. I mean, honestly, they've kind of got the intel on what folks are searching for, not just from the jobs or the agency side, but also from the candidate side, the same side that most likely you would be on if you're at this point in the video. So, I mean, use them again and see them as a friend and not a foe. Pick 2 to 3 different recruiters and try to form a more personal relationship. And so again, I know some of these emails that randomly come across, sometimes they might even have brackets with your underscore name. They won't seem very personable. Like I said, maybe don't use that recruiter or give them another chance. But at the end of the day, if you really are at this point, then any extra bit of help that you can get. But to me, that can actually sway the odds, even if just a little bit. So don't dismiss it totally outright, is what I would honestly say. Next up, try internal job postings at your very own job. If you already have a job right now, that could be the very best thing that could happen to you. I mean, you could try a lateral move and basically almost come in right through the side door. I mean that literally. I mean, you've already got the connections formed. You're a well-known commodity. Folks already know your name, and heck, if you get to a certain point, you might even not have to have a background check because again, you're a known commodity. You may have a conversation starter if you don't know your tech team. Depending on which position that you're open for. If you are on site, I mean, spruce up a conversation at lunch and just start kind of throwing fillers out there and let folks know what you're interested in, what you're studying. I'm going for this cert XYZ. It's been pretty tough, but I'm starting to turn the corner, starting to understand this. And heck, you'd be surprised at how many people might offer to, come on over here. I'm working on this project. Why don't you, hang out, take a look with me? That's if it's on a need to know basis. I know some government jobs won't permit that. It is that need to know kind of thing. But again, depending on what sector or what technology you're in, there's always going to be a need for IT folks, regardless of the job. So sometimes instead of looking external, just look within and try to form those relationships again. Like I said, you're already got one foot in the door. So third is honestly not a tip to get a job per se, but it's one that eventually when you get to the interview part, it's going to come in handy. And that's to go ahead and continue practicing, studying, whether that's interview questions or, different posts out there that have them. It's way better to learn the lingo and talk and make it sound natural as opposed to just studying for certs and things like that and only knowing what the book way is. Just being able to sound like you're one member of the team, I'm telling you, it will definitely break down barriers, and it can honestly take, not to say the stress level down during the interview, but a lot of times it removes some questions that even need to be asked when the interviewer can already see you as a member of the team. And again, that comes with just becoming familiar with the basics, the foundational elements of, again, whatever sector of technology that you're looking for, and just having a strong grasp to be able to relate and to be able to tell a story or to tell examples of, not just, the textbook answer, but really give your opinion on how you would approach that. And again, not having forget that. Let's do a real world example. Let me just think of one. Let's say someone asked a question again in networking, and they said, "Hey, customer A is experiencing such and such problem, but it's a black box type of an environment. There's not much information there. Like, what are some of the things that you would look for?" Again, this just, I don't even know if it's a valid question. So for me, I would just say, that's a very good question. And so working with the network, if I was a internal member of the team, I would take a look first at, what I do know and what my team does know on our side. If it's a VPN related, then there has to be two sides of the tunnel, and there's bidirectional communication. It's not just unidirectional. So there are some things that we can gain insight from our side of the gateway or the concentrator. You know what I mean? If it's something that's an application related, then we may have status codes that can give us more information on whether it's a 300, 400, or 500 a status code that's returned. If it's database related, again, what changed yesterday, or there's certain tables that can be, there's just so many things that you can just start talking out there. Again, it doesn't have to just be firewall, network, application. This is just making it seem like you understand the total stack or end-to-end communication and things like that. And again, not the perfect answer, but this is just me talking. And if you start to respond like that in an interview, like I said, it just seems like a natural conversation. It's not like, hey, I'm really just interviewing this person and writing down their answers. A lot of times, if I get a candidate that's like that, I kind of stop taking notes, and now it becomes more of a back and forth dialogue in a conversation. So again, that can come, or that can be helped, or that can be influenced by having a strong grasp. But if you just really are wet behind the ears and don't know, then start gaining another better understanding by just knowing what some of these questions that can be in training and practicing. At number 4, really, I don't ever see this talked about much, and that's really, why not consider being a member of the military? I mean, as a veteran myself, I really was transportation logistics in the Army, not really signal or on the IT or commo side. But there's so much that you can learn, whether it's RF transmission, whether it's cable dogs, whether it's cyber, whether it's network transmissions, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you qualify for those jobs, you of course got to go to boot camp and get through that, and your MOS or your training school. I mean, this is hands down going to be where you can gain a lot of, and this is different than the 90s, the 2010, when a lot of us or their elders were in. I mean, this is modern technology. I mean, cryptography has always been around there. A lot of those type of things work hand in hand with academics and government and the military back in the 40s, 50s, 60s to, establish that. But just the things that you would see in the commercial world, they're adopted, and, day to day, the soldier, the airman, the sailor, they're going to be able to get experience with that. And that's different than the early 2000s, where it seemed like the day-to-day life of, a soldier was not really on par with their civilian counterparts. But don't see the be all you can be commercials anymore, really, like we did in the late 90s and early 2000s. But I mean, if you are up to it, fully capable, I mean, they're going to take care of you the rest of the way if you just put that one foot forward. But that's just one thing that I don't see really talked about. I mean, you can get your education while you're in, go to college online or on base. You got so many benefits. You'll be looked at as a veteran. I mean, the numbers of benefits go on, and I could definitely do a video all about that myself. But it's one that, honestly, if you really, really are down on your luck, options, I mean, there is a age barrier. I think it was 42 or 45 from memory. These things go up and down and change, but there's always waivers that can be had. But like I said, just definitely I wouldn't discontinue that if you really, really just are down on luck on your outs and you're open for consideration for anything. So give that one a try. And then at tip number 5, last but not least, it's really document your journey. I mean, there's so many things out now. I mean, if you're watching this, this is a YouTube video. It's come a long way. It's a form of documentary, or really, it can be used, not to say a recruiting or pitching tool, but similar to LinkedIn profiles, Medium for blogs and things like that. Get and just the color code in your dashboard of green, the activity that shows that you're active while you're learning different things. Just be able to document it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a public facing way, but something that you can bring to the table if ever you're asked. It's not, I won't say it's a negative if someone asks, hey, let me see your portfolio, etc. I mean, if you're going for a developer, it's definitely a different ballpark. But again, it can be an added plus that may separate you from the field, because at this point in time, at least right now, in America, this time where there's just so much competition, so many people getting laid off, federal side, people taking early buyout. I mean, there's just so much competition that you have to, or I won't say you have to, but most likely you should have to, sorry, most likely you should want to do those things that will easily separate you. There's differentiators. If we're looking at 30 candidates in there that everything's just lined up, maybe these one or two things here can separate one from the others. Me myself, when I'm interviewing, I'm more of a looking for the intangibles, the fit to the team. Can we see this person not just coming in and fitting in, but bettering the team, growing, challenging us, the standard policies that are in place right now, bringing a fresh perspective. Will they be able to flourish, in the next year or two? Like, some of the questions that I typically ask are like non-technical, but it's to really try, again, because it's all a try, to try to get to know the person themselves, really more for the fit. Because in technology, there's so many things that can be learned on the job. And if you learned it one way over here or in a book, you definitely, it's going to be totally different when all HE or double L hockey stick breaks loose in the middle of the night. So there's no substitute for that kind of experience. So, but like I said, I know it's challenging out there. And like I said, if you're watching this video and you made it up to this point, I really, truly do appreciate it. I just want to commend each and every one of you for just waking up each day and giving it your best. And just here for any resources that you may need, any questions you may have. Like I said, I've been pretty stable on this end, but I keep my ear to the ground. So I'm here. I can share, whatever questions that you need or want answered, because it takes a village, definitely, and we're all one community here. I'm trying to lift one another up. So I want to thank each and every one of you out there again for rocking in here with me today. And until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves. Peace.